Each week, we welcome to our NfG stage one of our highly talented members or special guests to bring you something designed to help you and your business. Our next guest spent many years of her early career in the busy world of HR before establishing her own business in 1999. Through involvement in training development, she soon saw the benefits in people development far beyond the scope of their working world. And as an integrative coach, consultant, trainer, and author, she's helped many people to be successful in their business and for their business to be a success. She still works in the corporate field while also doing therapeutic work with her Your Empowered Self business and coaching on her Ahead for Success whole person approach to other coaches. An author of 6 books, including An A to Z of Business, a Handbook for the Small Business, and her bestseller, Ultimate Energy, From Tired to Inspired. I bring to you Tricia Woolfrey. Good morning, Tricia.
Good morning. My dog is saying hello as well. I'm sorry, I can't extricate him, otherwise he'll be barking like mad. 7 steps to create a mindset for success. It was going to be a little similar to the one that Chris did last week, so I had to make some major changes so that you had something different to look forward to today. So I've got a different emphasis, and today I'm going to share a case study, which is John. John is a qualified accountant. He's got 20 years experience in the corporate world, but he decided he wanted some work-life balance and he was going to work for himself, which he set up as self-employed 3 years ago, but it's not been easy for him. He's really struggled to make money. He's struggled to not only get new clients, but to keep them as well. He's earning much, much less than he used to. He is working hard though, and he's very confused why he's working so hard, not getting the results. His stress is through the roof. He can't afford his holidays anymore. And worse than that, he can't afford his golf club. So he's had to relinquish that. He's extremely irritable and he's drinking much, much more. So his wife is completely delighted. So first thing we had to do was step number 1 is define what success means to you. And I think this is the first place that John went wrong, because he was measuring his success against other people when really what he was interested in was work-life balance. He wasn't interested in having the highest profits ever or the biggest accountancy name in the region or the country. He wasn't interested in leaving a legacy. He just wanted his golf, his holidays, and to enjoy his life. So we simplified what success meant to him. Second step is to recognize where 80% of your success comes from. And I don't know how many of you have heard of Daniel Goleman, but he's a leading light in the area of emotional intelligence. And he says, if your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get very far. So this is the kind of principle of emotional intelligence, which accounts for around 80% of your success. And this is where John was going wrong. The third thing is to understand the challenge. So Albert Einstein, great hairdo, said problems cannot be resolved with the same kind of intelligence that created it. And when John was working really, really hard, he was doing the same things over and again, and of course, not getting the results that he wanted. He was just getting the same results. Number 4 is we created his own emotional intelligence map. Emotional intelligence is EQ, by the way, emotional quotient. So a simplified version for him is self-awareness. His perception of himself differed very, very much to other people's perceptions of him. He was getting feedback that he really didn't agree with, so he discounted it. His social awareness, in a similar fashion, he would make assumptions about other people's motives, which would make him less than constructive in his interactions with other people. So he needed to develop that area too. Self-management, because he wasn't doing very well, his motivation was very low. So someone who's got high emotional intelligence will be able to motivate themselves no matter what's going on. His was very, very low. And his drinking was out of control, which meant that he was waking up, that was my husband saying hello. I told him not to bother me, damn. Never mind, emotional intelligence in action. So when you drink too much, then you wake up with a hangover, so you're less productive in the morning. So that was affecting him too. And then we've got, so I'm laughing about my husband. And then we've got relationship skills. So what was happening when he was disappointed about an interaction, what he did was withdraw into himself, which made him not available to other people. His ability to influence, now the dog, his ability to influence and manage conflict was very, very compromised as well. And I like to say that conflict is made worse by the avoidance of it. Sometimes when you have a conflict situation, it is really helped by addressing it head on. So that's his EQ map. Fifth step is to accept some inconvenient truths. And for John, these are the ones that we came up with. Things don't always go as planned. So he's planned for an easy life. He came off one treadmill basically and then just went on to another one. Positive thinking is not the same as not having negative thoughts. We all have blind spots, and blind spots are the things that hold us back. Negativity bias and confirmation bias are enemies of progress. Life will always challenge you. Success begins at the end of your comfort zone. Everybody's different, and wherever you go, there you are. So he moved from the corporate world, but really he was bringing the same baggage into being self-employed, where his problems in the corporate world were simply emphasized when he was working on his own. So he had to accept these truths. The next step was to create a roadmap. So they'll be different for everybody, but for him, it was developing a strong why. So this was, why he was in business. And the reason he was in business is to have that work-life balance. He stopped comparing his success to others, cultivated neuroplasticity, which is a fancy word for really being able to change your mindset. So he had a very strong default pattern of negativity bias and confirmation bias, which really kept him stuck. He became an observer of his negative thoughts rather than a slave to them. So this is where a lot of people get stuck. They just get stuck into their negative thinking and they just go down this path that leads them to a bad place, basically. We fostered with him a growth mindset, which enabled him to grow from experience. He had the habit of shrinking from experience. So he wasn't really able to make a success of his business. He became open and responsive to feedback, seeing it as something really, really helpful to his business strategy. And he created a positive networking strategy and skill set. That was one of the big things that was holding him back. Created lots of small wins each day to keep him positive throughout the day. And he employed the CIA, which was not a recruitment drive, but what I call the CIA, which is control. People have more control than they think, but probably less than they would like. The ability to influence everything else, or to accept what is. And I think when you can use that in a really intelligent way, then you have a lot less stress in life and a lot more progress. But also we had to address the need for self-care for him. Number 7 is enjoy the results. Who wouldn't like to do that? So his profits were steadily rising. He feels more engaged with his business because he can see where he's going and that he's making a difference to others. He's a more effective networker. He's developed perspective on situations rather than being stuck in one way of seeing things. He's able to see it from a range of angles, which means his responses are more appropriate to the situation to get a positive result. He's drinking much less. He's rejoined his golf club. His wife is happier, and he's enjoying the balance that he craved. I like to say that success is a process involving mindset, positive habits, and regular adjustments to help keep you on track and enjoy your journey. Emotional intelligence is your secret weapon. There we are. Any questions?